You need to know this. After he met with President Obama the day after the election and actually behaved himself for more than an hour, some people out there, people who apparently have not been paying attention for the past year and a half, began to talk about how Trump might not be all that dangerous after all. The racism and bigotry he displayed on the campaign trail, these people said, was just a cynical ploy to dupe voters into electing someone who is really just a moderate Republican. Boy, were they wrong. The Trump administration is now shaping up to be a real basket of deplorables in every sense of the word. First, Trump picked Steve Bannon, the former head of white nationalist website Breitbart News, to be his chief strategist. That alone should have raised alarm bells across Washington because Breitbart regularly runs stories about evil Muslims coming to take your town, the greatness of the Confederate flag, and does feminism make women ugly?
Bannon sat down with the Hollywood Reporter and gave an interview. Here's what Steve Bannon said. Steve Bannon being the secret advisor in the dark shadows for the Trump administration. All right, so darkness is good, he says. Dick Cheney, Darth Vader, Satan, that's power. It only helps us when they get it wrong, when they're blind to who we are and what we're doing. We're going to build an entirely new political movement. It's everything related to jobs. We're just going to throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. It will be as exciting as the 1930s, greater than the Reagan Revolution, conservatives plus populists in an economic nationalist movement.
But the Bannon pick was just the beginning. Now Trump has added three more deplorable figures to his administration: retired General Michael Flynn, Kansas Congressman Mike Pompeo, and Alabama Senator Jeff Beauregard Sessions III. Flynn, who will serve as Donald Trump's national security advisor, is a raging Islamophobe who said on Twitter that fear of Muslims is rational. His views on Islam are so extreme that he had to be forced out of the Defense Intelligence Agency during the Obama administration. Mike Pompeo, who Trump wants to be his CIA director, is another far-right hawk. He's an original member of the Tea Party and thinks Edward Snowden should be executed. And then there's Jeff Sessions, Trump's pick for Attorney General. Sessions, whose full name is Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, is opposed to almost all kinds of illegal immigration and has a history of making bigoted statements like, "I thought the KKK were okay until I learned that they smoke pot." I'm not kidding. He's seriously supposed to have said that. And it's one of the reasons the Senate decided back in 1986 that he was too racist to be a federal judge. Not too racist, however, for President-elect Donald Trump. Which raises the question, just what does this say about our country that an Islamophobe, someone who thinks dissidents should be executed, and a KKK apologist are about to be in charge of the national security and law enforcement agencies of our government?
This path forward. Yes. Folks are apoplectic, upset, mad, angry.
Anytime you vote for the lesser of the two evils, you evil yourself. That's how Hitler came to power. Okay? We don't see that. But you got to be evil. Here's a guy who rapes a woman once a month, another guy rapes a woman once a day, and you got to pick one to babysat for you. You're evil. And that's what America, that's how Hitler came to power. See, few people know Hitler won that election by 288 votes, okay? And almost wiped the world out. So you can get by with that with the church, but you can't get by with that with the universe that made the moon, the sun, and the stars, and that's where we are.
You got people who are concerned in terms of where do we go from here?
You don't go nowhere, it's not your business. Not your business. If you ever saw Trump's television shows, brilliant. So how you get so stupid all at once? If I went to apply for a job collecting garbage, they would ask me to bring in my last year's tax return. You run for president, you don't have to bring his in, and y'all tolerate it, and don't know where it's going? That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
What do you say to that activist, to that young person, to that elder who's saying, okay, what do I do for the next 4 years?
You can do nothing. You're not going to make 4 years. This country won't make 4 years. It's over.
Now, when you say it's over, what does that mean?
It means decline. The Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, all of them fell. Okay? All of them fell. You see it.
So what should we do? Because Jim over here talks about the resistance.
Please.
They had the resistance with even going against Hitler.
Please. The Jews didn't know what Hitler was doing. Okay? Our problem is we think we're part of this government, and you're not.
Yes, sir.
But God destroyed Babylon completely. You can go to Iraq now and visit Babylon. It's only 55 miles south of Baghdad, and nothing is there. Nothing is there. How completely displeased was God with Babylon. But Babylon had a daughter. And that daughter is found in the book of Revelations in the 18th chapter. It's called the Mystery Babylon. And it said of the Mystery Babylon, and an angel cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon is fallen and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Come out, lest you be partakers of her sins and her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven. Who is that mystery Babylon?
Mi-a arătat toată California.
And he showed me all of California.
Ce-ți arăt?
Do you see what I've shown you?
E Sodoma și Gomorra.
This is as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Păcatul lor a ajuns înaintea lui Dumnezeu.
Their sins have reached God,
Și Dumnezeu a hotărât să-i pedepsească prin
and
foc.
God has decided to punish them by fire.
M-au dus și ne-au arătat Las
He
Vegas.
came and showed me Las Vegas.
Aici e Sodoma și Gomorra.
This is as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Într-o zi va arde.
In one day it will burn.
Ne-au arătat New York.
He came and showed me New York.
Aici e New York.
This is New York.
Aici e Sodoma și Gomorra.
This is as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Într-o zi va arde.
In one day it will burn.
M-au dus și ne-au arătat Florida.
And then he showed me Florida.
Aici e Florida.
This is Florida.
Aici e Sodoma și Gomorra.
This is as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Într-o zi va arde.
And in one day it will burn.
Zic, da, cu mine ce ai să faci?
But what will you do with me? I said.
Ți-am spus să taci
I told you to be quiet.
și m-au dus la locul de unde m-au luat.
And he brought me back to the place we left.
Acum stai de vorbă cu
He
mine.
said, now we
zice.
can talk.
Te-am adus în țara asta.
I brought you to this country
Iubesc țara asta.
because I love this country.
Iubesc poporul din țara
I
asta.
love the people in this country.
Și prin gura ta vreau să trezesc mult.
And through your mouth, I want to wake up a lot of people.
Cum ai să-l trezești prin gura mea când eu nu pot să mă înțeleg cu
How can you
nimeni?
wake him through my mouth when I can't understand anyone?
Tu nu te îngrijora, zice.
You don't worry about that.
Eu îți voi pregăti prin cine se
I'll
vorbește.
prepare some more for you to speak through.
Ai să ajungi la
You
televizor,
reach television,
ai să ajungi la radio,
radio,
ai să ajungi în adunări,
churches,
să spui tot ce-ți spun
but
eu.
tell them everything I tell you.
America va arde.
Again, he said, America will burn.
Cum să ardă America, că America e puternică?
But how can America burn when it's so powerful, I said.
Tu așa să le spui cum
He
îți
said,
spun
tell
eu.
them as I tell you.
Să n-ascunzi nimic, că dacă ascunzi aspru, te
Hide
lovesc.
nothing. If you will try to hide anything, I will punish you harshly.
Spionajul sovietic.
The Russian
Au
spies
descoperit cele mai puternice depozite nucleare
have
americane.
figured out where the most powerful nuclear plants in America are.
Când americanii crede că e pace, liniște
When the Americans will think it's peace and quiet,
și stăpânesc tot pământul,
and they rule the world,
atunci de pe ocean,
then from the oceans, out of Cuba, Nicaragua,
America Centrală,
Central America,
Mexico,
Mexico,
va bombarda depozite nucleare
they
americane
will bombard the nuclear plants in
și
America,
America va lua foc.
and America will burn.
A potential showdown is looming now as Iranian President Hassan Rouhani warns that Iran will not allow President-elect Donald Trump to rip up the agreement that they made with 6 countries in the nuclear deal.
He never mentioned Mr. Trump by name. He only referred to him as some man who'd been elected in the United States. But that man said repeatedly on the campaign trail that if elected, his #1 priority would be to dismantle this deal with Iran.
I have been in business a long time. I know deal making. And let me tell you, this deal is catastrophic for America, for Israel, and for the whole of the Middle East.
Rouhani is threatening a swift and prompt response if President Obama signs a bill that would extend some U.S. sanctions on Iran by about 10 years. Rouhani claims that violates the Iran deal, but the White House says the opposite.
But there is no doubt Russia is looking to expand its borders. It already took over Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula, and earlier this year, Russia announced plans to build its military presence worldwide. Officials say that they're in talks with all of these countries about building bases. Some of them just a short flight from the United States, like Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela.
These are international waters. One obstacle for Russia is refueling. That's why Russia's military is in talks with Cuba and Venezuela for air basing rights. Pentagon officials don't see the move as a serious threat, but it is a reminder that Putin is trying to make his military more visible and more assertive. In fact, last September, Russian Bear bombers, those strategic bombers that can carry nuclear weapons, reportedly practiced cruise missile strikes against the U.S. ship.